anything from another person we're missing? I think. Dina did say she could not come because she had been so ill for those weeks and missed work. She just didn't miss work again. Break her down. Okay, so I guess wait, we got one more minute. So and then Sue had given me an update about the library. Just gonna read out that. Go ahead. I'll be very next. So. Did that long range stuff give us any ideas for the library? Did you want?
Well, I mean, it does in the sense of, I think they did it. Did you go on Friday?
I did go on, I guess, but actually joined the committee.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I have not gone or thought anything about it, so I didn't go to the
But
no,
I thought the format was really good and really interesting, and very comfortable. And I think people had the wrong, I don't think people got the right impression about what it was supposed to be. But I think when you walked in, you realized it was, this is like a good idea. You got to talk to the people that are on the committee and kind of what they're trying to do. And like Ethan Daddy's there from Warren County, because there's a county initiative that overlaid with what they're trying to do here. And he was there to talk about that. And we basically just answered questions, and they had each one of them stand at the workstation and explain it.
But it's all related to what the survey.
Yes, it's a community plan.
Yes. So in addition to having people fill this out and sending in, this was another means for them to be heard or to ask questions.
Correct.
Okay. So we shall call the meeting to order at 6:31. So we potentially have Jane and Zoom and Dina. Like that. And Elizabeth. Hopefully we'll be here. Okay, the last month's minutes for August were sent out about a week after, and again the other night. Did anybody have any questions or corrections?
Is this where there was the question about why we lost our quorum?
We thought there was a better word.
We were gonna just edit it to say that, a board member had to return.
I did not do that, but I can do that before we, before we put it online. I did. So to say somebody had to return, we did discuss that, that's right.
Right.
But I will, I did not do that. So I will write that on my list of things. Okay, with that correction, would somebody like to make a motion to accept the minutes? Take a motion to accept
I'll second Michelle, second.
I'll do that and then get it to you. Okay. Okay. So those that agree, say aye. Opposed? Okay, then we are on to the treasurer's financials.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Did everybody have a chance to read this or no? Because I can kind of go over the highlights a little bit.
I read the narrative. I just didn't look through all.
Okay, all right, but that's fine. I mean, the narrative basically, I'm trying to just cover the highlights of what's in there. Right. So, we did get the second and final from the town, which would include capital improvements. We were reimbursed for the outlay for paying Patrice for the painting workshops, and we got the money from their act. We rolled over the CD, and I posted the interest, which was $839 that we got for that. And then the only other expenses were the deposit for the ADA compliant sidewalk to the ramp, which is ALA funded through a grant. And then we paid the New York Fire and Security the $199 for our annual fire alarm inspection. The farmers market we were down, we were off like about $400 from last year, and again, I think it was weather related, and I just think traffic was down in general at the farmers market, because I think traffic in Bolton was down. So
I think some restaurants did really well. I know like that, every morning when I brought my sister to work, that haircut was down to the from Moramble's gas station. So I don't, the farmer's market wasn't busy, especially the afternoon.
Right, and again, is that, local people do their shopping first thing in the morning and then go off and do their thing, and there was less transient people visiting, who knows, but anyway, we still made more than what we budgeted, so that was good. And I'll just give you everything that's on here. And we did meet, both the executive and financial committees met to discuss, a very preliminary 2024 budget. So we could put the request into the town and drop down and we asked for $75,000 improvement. And again, we won't know until December. Normally we have a conversation with one of them that gives us an idea of
All run.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
The day before. And he told me he had put the budget in, the full amount, and rest assured we would be taken care of.
okay. Until it gets passed, but okay.
But
No, as we've always planned accordingly, doing the budget, and that is what's going to happen. I think we have to backtrack if it doesn't. I don't know if there's anybody that has any more budget requests that they want to put in. So, Dina was concerned about fundraising, so I don't know if there's any other expenses.
According to the minutes, then move on to the director's projects and services.
Standard one. There is a correction under collective development. I found a second, where it says we just started 199 items. You actually have to have 95 to that. I found another list that wasn't included. Sarah and I have been doing a lot of meeting between the front corner, and then I've started this corner. And I think the shelves just look so much better. They actually look more approachable instead of jam-packed really tight. That section has to be worked on. That's going to be this one, but that's why the number is so high. And I forgot to include the book club. We met last week. I believe there were about 17 people here. We discussed This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger. It was a great discussion. And then next month we're doing boys in the book. All I have.
The poetry thing, is that
There were 3 people, including myself.
for a poetry workshop?
Yeah. She's an odd woman.
How many people signed up for the one that got canceled? No one signed up for the one that got canceled? No. Oh, interesting. Okay.
And this was the rescheduling of that, correct?
Yes, it was supposed to be held in July, and it was a horrible thunderstorm that night, so we did move it into September. I don't think people are interested in writing poetry. We walked around the park, and then we wrote haiku. I thought she was going to talk about her poetry. She never did. She never read any of her poetry. It was just it was an odd program, and the people that came really came more just. Actually, one woman was interested in poetry. She used to belong to a group that they would get together and write poetry, but the other one, who was her friend, always comes to support the library. It was it was an experiment. You don't have to do it again.
better than zero.
better than zero. And that's what happened with Julie Chapman. That was sad.
Yeah.
Actually, someone did come in that they were doing laundry. So she actually chatted with Julie for a little bit. Julie was so upset. She totally understood that that was also a night when the weather was really bad. She had walked up to trees, and when she was leaving trees, the storm just like burst open, and the streets were empty, and people just didn't come back out. She said that she would definitely come back and do something. Sarah and I are now talking about a different type of program with children's writers that wouldn't be like this Meet the Author series. So,
Or maybe she can come when we have the kids here, or are they too young from that?
I'm not too young, but it's not enough kids. Bambi doesn't have like, I mean, Julie does 50 kids or, you know, a bigger group of, what Sarah and I were talking about having a day in the summer where we invite some of these children's authors to do, you know, just have tables set up outside. They each do a little bit of a story hour. They would actually get to talk to people about their books. It would not be an evening thing, it would be, you know, like a Saturday afternoon. I think that would be more attended. And also I want to talk to Julie about, she said she would come up around Halloween. And I thought we could do something that night. And I might actually be able to work with Bambi on that one because Bambi does a Halloween party.
Well, it'd be good if we could reach out specifically to kids to invite them, because I don't think kids probably do their newsletter unless their parents read it and they tell them about it. So it's like we have to reach out directly to the school or something for that age kid that would think it's appropriate and sort of do a flyer or something that would be specific.
It's also, I mean, it's something that we can do, but to team up with either the recreation department or Bambi's after school
Yeah,
program.
camp, you know, the camp.
We did that, we already did that this summer.
Right, with the plans to, she could maybe come next summer for that.
Yeah, beyond that.
But yeah, we do the Halloween thing kind of behind that. Wonder if she could come on that, which I was gonna ask if we had the trunk or treat date. We have that a little bit of
10:28.
10:28,
Yeah,
okay.
from 3 to 6 o'clock. Yeah,
Okay, after.
It's just like, you know,
yeah, there's so many things going on with that.
I know,
There's so
I
many
think that it's really just a parade.
yeah.
I like the idea of like inviting her to come up to, because Bambi does this big Halloween party. And have her there to tell stories. She dresses up as a witch. She would just be the focus, and not just part of the crowd. But let me talk to her.
All right, so, we make a motion for accepting the director's report, or do we just have it into the minutes?
I think you accept it.
Accepted into the minutes, okay. So we're gonna move on then to the committee reports. As Michelle had said, the only thing we met for was for preliminary financial update so that we knew what to ask for money wise. So that's all for us. Did you have anything else under the financial committee?
No.
Policies and procedures?
The only update there is that we're working on a most recent past policies.
I can give you a little bit more. Everything's been added, so it was just a matter of identifying what forms we don't have, and I know maybe just sent me a form, so what. Earlier in the year, we talked about the meeting room policy, and Sarah signed off on it and said our meeting room policy was okay, but we didn't have like a form that people would fill out. So Megan found something, she just sent it to me, so I'm gonna take, that was the one form.
Something else we have to vote on?
No, it's just gonna be,
Just, okay, this is the form.
it's the form that they fill out.
One of the things we might consider, because when I was doing the research today, Saratoga has where you go online to fill out the form. Or you can print out a PDF and fill it out physically and then turn it in. You might be able to try that.
You can upload a PDF.
But that PDF you can't change. So There's, Saratoga, some of the smaller libraries had an actual form online that you could actually make your reservation through.
Okay, well, you could do a live PDF, but you have to pay for that version of it, so it would be, an expense.
It did not look like a PDF. I don't know what it was.
They can certainly print out the PDF and email it to us, right? I think they can email it to us. So,
I mean, how many times have you been asked to use the meeting?
They're in English every week.
Well, yeah.
okay, so we're moving on to long range. So at the last meeting, we have a long range report that was done, but what we wanted to do is try to tweak it a little bit to make it more our town specific. So we're looking for some ideas and ways to do that. And one was to reach out to organizations. So does anybody have any ideas of how we could reach out to these organizations and see how the library might be able to benefit them and help them some way in their mission? There are some of us that are in some of these groups, but anybody have any ideas about that? I mean, if we were able to come up with, say, 4 questions that kind of similar to what they talked about in that workshop that we listened to. Do you think we could divide up these organizations and every one of us could take one and kind of meet with that organization and come back? Do you think that's an unrealistic idea?
One thing that I got out of the webinar that they did about this was identifying like the stakeholders, like as your first pass, people that are articulate and involved with the library, involved with the community, and invite them here. Give everybody like a couple of choices of dates, and maybe it's 8, 10 people, and ask them here with those questions, and then you'll get a better sense, and then maybe you can take it a little bit further then.
Okay, think that would work better.
You're gonna go look at each one of those organizations.
And find somebody.
And say, no, yeah, that is representative.
Instead of
Somebody from the senior citizens, somebody, from the town.
All right, so if we kind of develop a letter and send it to these organizations.
Identify who they are, and call them, or, and find out if there's somebody that, knows who they are, because I don't know how else this really gets done, and this is not an easy process.
Okay, all right, well, we'll just continue to think about that and work on that, and hopefully also we can try to align ourselves a little bit with what the township comes up with for their long range plan as well, since they're also working on it. So, Mary,
Like someone else wants to chair that, because
right.
the book sale, well, you guys,
Yes.
that's like
Yes.
a year-round job, there's so many books to sort,
Yes.
and someone is
Right.
probably more qualified.
I know, we realized that at the last
I don't
meeting,
really
and we're sorry, we started to put you on, and we realized it's a much bigger job than 2 people can handle, so it's now become all of our job, we have to think that, so don't worry about it.
Just a suggestion, maybe talk to the president of the Lake George Library, because they just did that. And, talk to him about how they went about. I can find out who the president of the board is.
Should be on the website. Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you, that's a good idea. Okay, fundraising, anything new with that? Elizabeth, I know your team is not here.
No, I'm trying to connect with Kate and see what they can do, so I'm holding by for a couple of meetings, so next meeting,
And Dina gave me Melody's phone number. I'm gonna reach out to her and talk to her a little bit about a Friends of Crew too, so, I haven't been able to do that yet, but I will sometime over the next month. So, Buildings and Grounds Committee.
Well, I have a bit of a problem because when I printed out my agenda, there's nothing on the buildings and grounds, yet I know that,
If you have no red in your thing, no red.
oh, you know what? That's what it is. And I'm gonna change color. I'm like, wait a minute. I
So you're
know-
missing
I read this on
everything. Under the awful.
My Kristen is at work, so I keep sending it to my husband, and obviously he doesn't have color for his.
What did you just from now on send it to me and I'll.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do the print, but for the time being, yes. I'm sitting here going. All right.
All the way tomorrow.
So, let's see, let's start. We are going to schedule the furnace maintenance sometime in the next couple of weeks. The sidewalk is supposed to start on, Monday. And I'm gonna come back to that because, we need to vote on an additional part of it. And schedule the duct cleaning. We got the grant for the generator. And once we receive the check, which we still haven't,
No, my guess is in the next couple of days. 'cause
when we
normally-
receive the check, then we will schedule the installation. And we have to schedule it with the, company who we accepted their bid to submit to the state. We'll finish the work on the native garden. Michelle, do you have a number right off how much we've laid out for that?
525 and 120.
525
Yeah.
and 120. And we'll have a little bit more for the irrigation, and then whatever is left, we'll buy plants. Put in this fall, and then we will reapply for another grant next year, because you can do it on a yearly, basis.
Right.
To get more plants and to, redo mulch and stuff next year.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
And Dave McNamee installed the plywood in the attic, and have we received that invoice, Michelle?
No.
Okay, we can go up to Dave, yeah.
He just extended the base, you know, where he covered the, insulation upstairs
For storage.
for storage,
For
but
very light,
very slight.
and the boxes, the only thing that goes up
So what I would like to circle back to is, we had talked about using additional funds to complete the sidewalk. The one that's more right here. It goes up to the ramp. That's quite a long expanse of an old pebble coating. And while we had the company here, we were looking into whether it was feasible to do the whole thing and have all the sidewalks be updated and done. And when I got the quote for that, it was for $8,500, which initially, I thought, wow, that's a lot. But then when I went and I measured the stakes out, it actually is not more expensive per linear foot than what he had quoted us for the, original job, which was $11,500 to redo the sidewalk from the road up to the existing sidewalk, and then make a new sidewalk to connect the two. So I'm asking, for a vote to approve this expenditure with the, provision that we would, we were going to ask, well, there's a couple of different ways. We were gonna ask Norwell for a part of it. And like now, I can't remember where else. I think that's the other.
Do you have a plan for the $5,000 for the capital improvement money from the town?
Well, again, part of that could go towards it, because we don't have any other expense, major expense coming up. And we still have money left in our capital improvement fund that, we could put towards it.
So just to clarify, we're talking about now total of 20,000
Yes,
and 11, almost 12,000 was already put aside. So we're just looking for that additional funding of the 8,500 to extend it all the way out.
yes,
And we have means to do that through Norwal and
We
Next
have an
year.
AIA grant for $10,000 that covered the bulk of it.
right,
So we just had to come up with a covering what the contract. And then we could use the $5,000 year on year, we could ask normal. I think everybody's talking about asking normal.
Right, that's a-
So we need
that's a
to
lot
figure
of
out what,
yeah,
because I know there was a conversation about the printer
right,
too, so we kind of have to figure out where it comes from.
but.
And again, there's reserves that you could dip into to cover that, that's not even the.
And
Capital
as
improvement.
Michelle said, the $5,000 we've asked from the town for capital improvement, that goes towards it. And we do still have a little bit of money left from, previous years, that we haven't totally used up.
okay. Well, I think it's a good idea because I do think that the sidewalk itself is going to be, it's chipping away because it's that pedal stuff.
It's an
And we would
aggregate,
end up doing it again sooner rather than later to make it look nice. So it does make sense to do it. But I guess my question would be, I'd like to know if the treasurer then thinks that we can reasonably, like worst case scenario, is there, can we be able to find the money from somewhere else to be able to cover that without having any issues with meeting our other obligations?
Right, it wouldn't impact your operating.
Right, and that's what that was what I was asking. So I'm comfortable voting yes with that. So everybody who's in favor, say aye.
Would you make a motion?
Yes, that was what she was saying from the beginning to end was all one motion. I make a motion. Yeah, that.
Instead of the additional funds,
Yeah.
because it will be cheaper for us to do it now than to come back and do it.
Give Eric a dollar.
$8,500.
To spend the additional $8,500 to $8,500.
And Sarah and I will work very hard on finding grant money for this. Yeah, a couple of things. I actually,
We've got a grant, foundation, for communities around Fort now. And Sarah went to look into that. I saw it listed somewhere, and the people, the groups that they gave money to, you can check that out. I think that if you're going to do all of this work on the sidewalk, we really have to address the salt. If you're gonna spend all this money to fix the sidewalks and make them beautiful, and then the town continues to use that much salt on the sidewalks, the same thing's going to happen. I mean, that is why the sidewalks are so bad.
but I think the surface that they use on the new sidewalks doesn't deteriorate as much as this heavily aggregate one. And we are gonna work on them not doing as much stuff. So anyway, I made a motion.
And so all those who are in favor of that motion say
You
aye.
guys
I mean,
have-
oh, that's
I'll
second.
second.
Dusty second. So now, all those who are in favor say aye.
Thank you.
So moved. Okay, so book sale, we got a report from Sue.
Yeah, she, started selling some of the old collectible books on eBay and it's going really well. And she's, I think, like $100 for the library. And she said, please spread the word that we're taking some ideas now and we do well on. Amazing for you, an encyclopedia.
That's what I said. We should
Well, we talked about it, yes, I ran into her today. It's interesting because there's some collectors that are buying these and reselling for more money. But we sold older books to people that were dressing restaurants and a movie set. People came looking for things, so it's not, if you're going for a look of a time period, that's where they go for, as opposed to just even, doing a facade, and that's what some of the things we've sold in prior years, so we just don't know, but she said it was interesting that she's finding them being resold for more money.
And I know Michelle said the trunk or treat is the 28th.
Yes.
And we have several, Megan showed me, we have so many books for that, and I'm just wondering, how many last year came back in?
I know that Bianca said it was about 700.
We had a lot.
I haven't gotten an email from, what's his name?
Ready?
Rick. When was he emailed? So.
Well,
I know we're included.
I haven't seen anything, and I just went and Googled, trunk or treat 2023, and it was on
Normally
the
he emails and says,
website.
He already put us on.
he did,
Yes,
okay.
he came in and he and I spoke.
But then we have to fill out, waivers and whatnot too.
I don't know.
I'll, if it's okay with you,
Absolutely.
I'll send him an email and just follow up.
Yep.
What's
I
his
think
last name?
Give me a minute.
Landry?
Yes, Rick Landry.
Because I think there was a question last year that you wanted to be able to, like, have your car accessible, or have the car there.
No, they're all, no, they're always, everyone.
Right, right. I think there was a thing about moving where you were or something, I
You're putting us in a different spot.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, I mean, we were in the same
Yeah.
spot 2 years. All right, yeah, I'll just follow up and then I'll.
And I have a ton of stuff. Yeah, I can sell it.
They were actually
$100
hard.
I know.
We're gonna have to, last year, did we ask people to donate candy?
We did.
Yes.
Yes, that's stuff, because that's a lot.
I can't do the popcorn, I do them for all beyond, there's like 20. I can't do them for all the, but the Friends of the Lights go for it, so I didn't always do that. But we did it.
Yeah, so that would be great.
I'm gonna wait till the.
Did you do it
on
to
the
the
spring
Robin or just us?
I think I did it to everyone.
Yeah, I think we went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, let them know we have like.
But we have so many children's books. She was separating, but like, we have so many now. We can try to treat, if we need one, we certainly can. I've also noticed we're getting like multiple copies, like teachers are donating one, or, for reading groups or something, so I might do a box, and just, got 5 of this.
Yeah, by
And
the
a lot of
end,
them
by the end, there was not much left.
Right, so I think so.
And then I guess we just talk about people. I mean, I don't mind.
I
doing it.
don't like
And what you said that's the 28th
28.
of October, right? All right, I guess we'll do that during it, or should we just address it? I won't be able to go because I'm gonna be at, mothers, I have to live with her that week. And Carla's doing the next meeting. Because in October, you said you would share the meeting for me. because
Oh, yes.
it's like- And I did let Sarah know too.
Sarah Dallas.
Dallas, in case she wanted to change her date, because I said, you're welcome to still come. But I just wanted to let you know that I wasn't speaker and the vice president is gonna be chairing the meeting then.
Did you hear back from her or anything?
I didn't hear back from her, no. I did CC you on the letter too.
Yes, she did, thank you.
So I won't be able to be at that meeting.
That's it, no worries. I mean,
I'm
honestly,
disappointed because I love doing it.
it's fine.
We had a
I
great
think
time.
2 of us are fine, but if anybody else wants. The more the merrier.
I think you need more than 2 because you had some people on the side of the car and then on the other side of the street. is where they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, it was nice having someone to help people pick and to keep spreading them out.
Okay, so maybe 3, I mean, there's a lot of standing ground.
Yeah.
Shifting around.
Right. Yeah, so if you get more.
If anybody else is available, that would. Also folded, so if you want to come for an hour,
I think in an hour.
you want to come for an hour?
Yeah, those 2 months. Yeah, another poster.
Kind of treat yourself to a book.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Just laminate it. Oh, wait, that's way too big.
Yeah, that's true.
So the next thing is the grants committee. Since Jane is here, does Jane write this or just?
Jane is there working on the update.
Is there anything on here you think we need to, I mean, a lot of this stuff we've already gone over at one time or another, so I'm not sure that there's anything really that new on there that we need to.
We are working on another grant for Lara to do another painting with the tree.
Well, that program went really well and had a lot of people, so that's great. So, all right, so that's grants. Personnel, we just needed a copy of Sarah's, we put in her file that Michelle keeps, so you can make sure Michelle, they did.
Did I send it to you? I will.
Well, I think you emailed it. So did you just need she did email a copy of it at the time. I'm
I
pretty sure
shouldn't,
you.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I think the only thing we had just asked to have a date on it because it didn't have a date. And,
The date in the email.
yeah, but I think just to put it on the paper to put on in her file.
This is your evaluation, Sarah,
Sarah.
correct?
Yes. Was there one more thing besides that? Besides the date and the, oh, just that to make sure that Michelle got a copy to put in her, a hard copy to put in her file. Sunshine Committee, anybody have anything for Elizabeth to send out? Anybody thank yous?
I got an email from the other day.
Elizabeth, do the thank you to the town. Now that we've gotten the final check of the should that come from someone?
Generally, it's the president kind of does it,
After we've been okay before.
No, we
no,
got the final check for this year.
Oh, not for next.
but, a lot of it was kind of said in the ask, so I think we can put together something that's just a thank you. And I want to,
Thank you for the final installment.
it's your continued support. Do you want me to just kind of mock up something, because I did want to thank them also for the grounds committee for their help, because we couldn't do the book sale without them, and that.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of like
We
lumped
put that
everything
all
at the
into
top,
one.
yeah,
that'd be
and then call out Mark, because George isn't here, so Mark's been really helpful,
okay.
pretty easy to get. I could rough some.
And then we can just put it in there. So.
Yeah.
But did you get that? Oh, I just wanted it. Was it to Laura? Did Laura?
Yeah,
just
that's
check
what
it?
he's talking about. I was just gonna check.
Yeah. Let's see.
Laura is also, she's also sick. Emma told me that she has COVID.
Yeah.
Had a very rough time.
Yeah, it was that her husband died. Okay, so we really shouldn't have, we need to take tax district off of here
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to.
Right.
Michelle said there was something to say in a minute, so say on the agenda about that.
Well, we did it, I mean.
Okay, so I can just bring it up.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
it last month, so.
now. Okay, programming committee.
We haven't met in quite a while. I'm not sure that it's still necessary to have a committee. Between the ideas that we got from, when we did meet, plus all of the ideas that Sarah and I have come up with, I don't know that it's absolute, that it's still necessary. So there is no updates.
Is that one that's in our?
It's not in them, it's
not one that we have. It's not a committee that we have.
we are asking all the time for, are people, what are people interested in? It's just kind of become part of our conversation. with the future.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even sure who Ann Kenna is, who's on there.
She is, one of the church ladies. She's in the book club.
She won 2 baskets.
She won 2 baskets. And she's just always, she's part of the group of friends that Michelle and I were talking about last 2 months ago.
Okay.
Where it's just, they're always there to help us.
Okay, great. Okay, then,
Yeah, I just something super quick.
yes,
It was Anne Marie's.
That's what I was for the basket. And, we weren't going to say how much we raised, but we're just gonna say that it was, I think I told Elizabeth to gosh.
Yes, you said gosh.
Gosh, we made more than we budgeted.
Yeah. So was there another person that you wanted?
No, I had already told you to send us something. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Okay.
And it's the same.
Okay.
And we had already thanked Sheila for the,
Maybe thank you.
Yes, but I will double check.
And Anne Marie has said yes to a Christmas.
And Sheila's name was
The book club.
the girl, right, yes.
First, Santa's gotta be able to fit it down the chimney.
Um, Should we thank the farmer's market?
I sent Penelope, I mean, I always when we're done, I send her a note. Thank you for including us every Friday. She's, yeah.
Rather will request another role.
Okay.
is that okay, she can have them, or okay, she just asked me?
Oh, no, I'm really, because I love picking out specific ones, because now we have
I
Toni
love-
Morrison. We don't have any thank yous, but we have Toni Morrison and these little thank you stamps that are really cute.
I've been thinking about my own board.
No, we'll get you more stamps.
Okay, so that is all the committee reports. I have a motion to approve the committee reports. I second, and Jessica second. Okay, so, under unfinished business, we have the Pomeroy Foundation. Now, who is it that's looking for substantiation of information? Is that Sarah looking for it,
Yes.
Megan?
She did include that in the grant. committee
Yeah,
report.
is that something we can help her with, or, I mean, I don't even know where you would look, but if it's a time thing, I could, look for it. I'm not
Can I
sure.
interrupt for 1 second? Janie just texted me, she's waiting. to
Oh.
get it.
So, do you know what I'm talking about, the,
Thanks, Megan. Sorry.
I guess.
Yeah, but there's different. I mean, it's kind of hard. People refer back to the history of the library and that's in.
Can you see everybody?
Yeah. Hey.
That's in our, part of our bylaws and part of the policies and procedures, but none of that is documented. So I don't know where, you don't know where it came from. So I think they were kind of looking for source material for some of that, just to be able to know what it is. And that may be a question for Jane Gabriel's over there. Because I know, I think your mother was part of writing up part of the history.
She did.
Yeah, so Jane may be.
Can we
somebody-
hear her?
I don't think she can.
Jane,
Yeah, I can hear you.
everybody?
Yeah,
Oh,
just the history of what? I lost that
Library.
one. Oh, the history of the library. Okay, dope. Yeah.
Your mother did write it. I have a copy of it. It's actually in the.
Yeah, I remember this.
Piece.
Right, but that's not footnoted, but
No.
where did the information come from?
I don't know.
so what we're saying is for that Pomeroy grant, we need like I don't know, what would you call it, substantial
Verification.
verification of the
Okay.
information. So,
Yeah, maybe
I
there's
will-
things you can get articles and stuff like articles. There must be some articles in the paper or something that you could
I
include
think
with
your mother
it.
got the information from it, from The Historical Society. I wonder if they might have something.
I've been asking and I've gotten nowhere, because if there's anything that is stolen, it's in the front part of the thing. Asking for photographs and whatever documentation we have. One picture, and that came from
She is the one that's kind of in charge of that.
well, not really, but she had pictures through another source.
So you've been asking for this, or you?
Since I came on board, I
Oh,
wanted to
for-
know, just because we should have our own history of the library, I would think, and just at least identify that you could go back and find certain things. So I mean, we clearly know that, you know, the absolute charter was 1906, we know that.
But we don't have any paper proof of
You do, you got that charter on the wall, that's proof of it, so I don't know what else, I can't remember what else you wanted to sign to say, I think it was how many books were in the first.
I wasn't part of this conversation at all.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I guess I'll reach out.
Okay.
But that's a charter that's on the wall
Yes.
back there?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll see what else she does. Okay, training requirements, there was actually something else I just sent out, although that's after the first of the year, so that won't help until next year.
You guys have to finish this by the end of the year.
Yes.
Or what?
Then I lie, and then you're,
I can't be a trustee in her, guys.
I don't know what to say. Don't put me in the middle.
I actually gave you my certificate.
So you're done.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I
I will.
haven't done it.
No.
Find something fun, there's gotta be something
Yeah.
on it out there.
But we've all got our sexual harassment, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we have.
Until next
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so on new business, we have the Canopy video streaming services. And Megan can fill us in on that.
Sarah and I, let me just, there are a number of programs that, webinars that I signed up for, and anyone who just can't do them in person, you know, at the moment it's on. They also send out recordings, and that counts as education. So if you want, once I get the recording, I can send it out to you.
And then we can do it a little bit on.
Yes. Sarah and I had an online meeting with, her name is Emily from Canopy. I believe that each library determines themselves how much money they want to spend on Canopy. So she said you can, you know, some libraries put $1,000 a year or $500 a year, and then it is divided up into credits. Each library would be, that money, you're told how many credits you have, and then everything you watch has a designated amount of credits that you would use. So, and that amount, that number of credits is determined by the producers, the companies that actually did the series and the movies. She sent us a trial. I've looked at it a couple of times now with my brother. Arthur is an expert on streaming. So he said that, because I've never done it. It's done very well. The layout is beautiful. You can see exactly what's new, what the series are, where the series are from. You might like it for some of those, you know, that you guys are watching, like the Norwegian mysteries. And that trial ends on the 29th. And my sister.
So what it is, in case these guys don't know, it's a streaming service like Paramount or Disney or something like that, but it's through the library and they put things so people can watch it for free.
Yes.
And there's no commercials, right?
No, I don't think so.
And the only reason I know about it is because somebody does it, you know, just was talking to me, oh, does your library have Canopy? And I had no idea what we're talking about. So I looked it up and.
Eric and I had looked into it once before.
You did.
And I don't remember why we didn't go any further, except seem more expensive at the time, but, it's definitely worth considering. One of the things Linda had said to me was, and my brother thinks it too, is to do away with purchasing DVDs. We're not, our community is not in a place where we would make a DVDs.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, no, I wasn't saying not to get rid of those, but just that it's a good idea to. I mean, people would probably in the future use it more and more, so
Mhm.
some of that budget could be.
You just have to be careful how you, more people use DVDs than they would streaming. There are, I've said this, Michelle and I talk about this all the time, it's an aging community. I don't want to, technology scares some people. So I think it's a service that we should definitely consider offering, but it shouldn't be the predominant source of movies and things.
Does it sort of function like overdrive?
It belongs to Overdrive only.
Okay, so then, depending on how much money you spend, are you limited to the amount that you have available? Because this whole credit system, because we only have, when we buy Overdrive, we've only got access to certain things.
Right, no.
For a certain period of time.
No. From what I saw on the trial and from the information she gave us, we have access to the entire collection. It's not like the books that we have available to sell.
Right.
It doesn't look like that.
I guess, so you said we would get credit, and once we use up this credit, probably.
We can either put more money in,
Okay.
or we can wait until the next.
Are the credits based on views?
From the email that she sent me, the credits are determined by the people who own the movie.
Oh, I understand
I
that,
don't
but
know.
but how many people can, like, if everybody wants to watch X movie all at the same time, can that happen?
I don't know. It was a
And
basic
I also
meeting.
wondered if Michelle watched TV for 2 weeks straight, would she use up all the credits?
Right, yeah.
And nobody else in
Patron is
town would
only-
get it.
Each patron is only allowed a certain number of credits.
Oh, okay, then that's good.
So
Yeah.
it was a basic meeting. It was for us to see how it worked. Now that I've looked at the trial, I'm more than happy to get back in touch with her, but it definitely would have to be on there.
Yeah, because each patron is allowed, I mean, everybody that has a library card here has X amount of credits.
Yeah, I think so. But what I just said was that this was a very basic meeting with her. She gave us very basic information, how it worked. So I think now we get more information.
I mean, I would think that, say there's 1,000 credits, then if there's 1,000 people in the community, everybody would get, it's kind of.
I think that,
Be a cap.
Yeah,
I think that,
yeah, right, a certain amount of hours or
Yeah.
something like that.
how about we just wait and I get the more information and then talk about it the next meeting?
Does she do programs for like the whole board or anything?
I can ask her.
Because that way you don't have to remember everything yourself.
You could ask questions in real time. It's like, this is a budget.
How expensive is it?
She said
It
a
was-
library archive about
Each
$1,000.
library is allowed to determine how much they want to spend. So
But I think she did write in a letter that a library our size would be about $1,000. But since we have an aging community that wouldn't use it that much, then it may only be half or less than that.
Well, I don't know how many credits go to, I don't know how the credits are divided
Right.
up, so.
Well, she wasn't basing it on credit, she was basing it on other libraries of our size have spent that.
Right, but how many views did that?
I don't know. All right, any communications that we should know about?
no, there was, actually, there was one and I sent it to Sarah and we already discussed it, I didn't send it to Sarah, I sent it to Michelle. It was from, Sarah Dallas itself about, insurance for library boards, libraries, directors, employees about, should something happen with book banning, for different things, because in other areas of the country, they are going after libraries, trustees, directors. And Michelle said that we're already scheduling a meeting with Kevin O'Brien anyway, so she had read through the email I sent her and she's gonna proceed. Actually, what the lawyer, it was a ask the lawyer.
Yeah.
The answer that she gave was, you need to talk to your insurance agent, and this is how you ask them the questions, which that was really great.
Right, and then they broke it out between the board's issue and then the staff's issues, because they're two different things, so.
Okay, so this is individual insurance per person that's on a board, or that works? as
Yeah, you
one?
have directors and officers insurance that's included as part of our general liability insurance. But the question is, if something came up and, you know, somebody was gonna sue Megan for having a book on the shelf, is that included in there? So they were very good about asking the specific questions, and you just kind of give it to your insurance agent and say, are we covered under these particular circumstances? And then get an answer from them in writing that, yes, you are. I will forward what Megan sent to me to everybody so that they can get it.
And you said you're gonna make meetings for me and you
And Carla wants to, I mean, normally Carla and I have sat down, it could be anybody that wants to, but to go over the renewal of our policy. He sent out a thing about cyber insurance, which might be something to discuss with Sarah Dallas next month as well.
Do you have a date set with him?
No, because I was waiting for everybody to come. He was good, I just think, because he wanted to do it on the 21st, and I said, you want.
And maybe this is as good a time to mention, there was one other. Did you forward that to everybody about the article that was in the Co-Star?
No, I just sent it to Carla.
So along that same line of intellectual freedom, the Rockwell Library, the librarian left,
She
resigned. And then her assistant resigned, so they have to close the library for now. Because they only have one staff person. And that was in response to.
They were.
It all started with the drag queen, I think, but then there's been new board members and fighting in between the board members. And so it wasn't just that, but that's.
No, it's been a contentious board meeting every time.
So it wasn't necessarily the public comment.
It's the new people that are on the board.
But the new people who came on the board probably came as a response
They did.
from that. So it was.
One of the new trustees, the first thing he asked the director was, he wanted a list of every book she had purchased in the last 2 years.
Among other things, and that there were accusations that were made in the public forum. There seemed to be a lot going on. And then to add kind of fuel to the fire, they used the stock photo, and it was actually the director talking to the school board, which is again, it adds to that confusion about the library versus the school. So I think Sarah Dallas and Sal's.
Yes, so they make, she wanted to come to the next meeting just because she's got other things going on.
So what I'm hearing you say is that we have to bump up our insurance in several different areas.
We don't know. We're gonna ask Kevin if all of the, I will forward you the email that he sent me. You can read the language, and he's gonna look at our policy and say, are we covered for these things? And then if not, I don't really know what kind of insurance it would be. And, you know, they would said it because it's not only just insurance that covers you, there's a host of other things, but I will send you an email and you can take a look at it.
Okay, so, upcoming events, Megan, anything you wanna mention there?
I'm really excited about the Kate Fagan program. She is she's had a book on the New York Times bestseller list. I've met her mother, who's lovely, the mother lives here in town, right? Michelle? So I'm really excited about that.
Is that an adult one or?
It's an adult one. She is a sports writer. And the book that she just had published is called Hoop Streams.
Soup music. Right here it says.
And then Marty Potts. I can't say his name. He has been here in the past, and he's a great speaker. And I think that he draws, a number of people.
I want to mention Megan was taking, going to see the pre-K Friday.
So were you gonna come with us too?
I don't think I can, but I will let you know.
Okay. The books are beautiful. They're beautiful.
Okay, I don't have any other notes, the next meeting is October 25th. And, any additional comments or anything else that anybody wanted to talk about, or?
I did want to let you know about something. I don't have any information on it. It's just from a conversation I had with Ed Caldwell.
Isn't he doing another walk?
He's doing another walk. So that is
Okay.
separate and that's already booked up. That's October 12th. I'm trying to get in touch with him because we scheduled it for 6, but I think 6 is too late. We don't. Ted has been in contact with David Smith's daughters, who have, the David Smith estate is publishing, it is like the ultimate catalog of David's artwork. And there's a name for it that I can't remember what it was. And he has asked them for the library to get a copy of it as well. And they have said yes. My understanding is there's only going to be 3 copies in existence. So there would be one here, one at the Historical Society, and I don't know where the 3rd one is. It needs to be locked, like under lock and key. And Ted said that he would take care of that for us. He did it. There's cabinets in the back room now that lock that have valuable books in it, and he said he would come up with something for this catalog. But I don't have any more information. I don't know when it's happening. Once I get that information, I'll pass it on to you.
Wow, that's an honor. Okay, so do we need anything for that other TED walks?
Nope. We're not doing wine and cookies.
Okay,
Just gonna walk and unless you want to bring stuff, that's up to you. Because most people didn't stay.
They did.
But, and as soon as I get information from Ted, we will send out an email letting people know. We'll post on Facebook what the walk, the route is, and
Okay. Anything else? And, this will be ending this meeting at 7:33. Those in favor of ending, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? So moved. So I have here, if someone want to think of some dates, or do you want to ask them first and then?
Yeah, mine knew it was kind of. Are you all or kids are all?
So I'm. So.
And it's probably not to be long.
Really weekends, I think,
Yeah, I got it.
or look at your schedule.
Till 10:22.
Good night.
Well, she said.
I've seen that on YouTube. Models that look like, yes, have you ever been there? No, but anything. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, it's, when you see them there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the weather held out for the wedding. Yeah. And I walked around. I just think, I mean, yep. 30 wedding planners, like, I think we should do it outside, the radar, and a range, and we were set this Friday, like, we were taking this trip out here. And for mom, so yes. Whole idea that we did. Yeah. First, my favorite, I didn't want to be the one because, you know, other things, shut up.
That guy, nothing's right, it's right.
So I didn't say anything, but I was. Finally, they said, Nicole wants to roll the dice, but it's really funny because all the groomsmen were golfers. And when they said that they were like, golf pros assemble, they all came, every one of them had their weather app. And they're like, no, I think it's gonna miss it, and then I think, you know, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do it. And they put, and then we put, they put umbrellas out. Yeah, thank you. It was